Hey everyone, it's Aviation Buff. Today we're doing a top 10 list of great aviation museums in the country. Just a real simple video. And on a side note, I lost my Discovery Wings hat. It's somewhere around the house. But so right now I'm wearing my tin hat. If that's okay, just to be funny. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Last night we had some pretty bad storms and some tornadoes come down my area. But I digress. There's three museums on this list I'm excluding because they're probably the three biggest aviation related museums in the country, but so I kind of wanted to add a couple other three on the top 10 list. But the three that probably everyone knows is the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., the U.S. Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio, and the United States Navy National Aviation Museum in Pensacola, Florida. I think they're like the three biggest museums in the country, and they would be on a top 10 list, obviously. But I'm kind of excluding those today just so I can get three others in there that I think are really good. Okay, and this list is in no particular order, and I'm sorry I wrote it down just so I don't forget anything. So I'm gonna leave links in the description of all these museums and their websites, so you can go check out their website and get some information if you ever want to go visit any of these institutions, right? The Wings Over the Rockies in Colorado was a great museum, and it's got a lot of Cold War aircraft in there, and I think they have a great thing they're doing. They're, I think, a good example of what all aviation museums should be doing. They really have a good thing going there. But Wings Over the Rockies. The Commemorative Air Force has actually numerous locations throughout the U.S., and they're a very big warbird organization, and they have multiple locations for their museums. So the Commemorative Air Force is on my list. The San Diego Air and Space Museum is a great place in San Diego, California. The EAA Experimental Aircraft Association Museum in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Kind of can't really leave that museum out. It's a great museum, and I highly suggest you check that out. The USS Intrepid Air and Space Museum in New York City is it's an aircraft carrier museum. Has lots of cool airplanes and displays. Very highly suggested on visiting that someday. I've been on that one. The Carolinas Aviation Museum is a great museum. I think this is a really nice museum. It gets looked over a little bit, but the Carolinas Aviation Museum is a great museum, and they have a lot of aircraft and beautiful museum, really. The Pima Air and Space Museum in Tucson, Arizona has pretty much every aircraft in the U.S. Inventory almost, so particularly U.S. Air Force aircraft, but they have pretty much most of the aircraft that's been on the U.S. military inventory is on display at Pima. No thanks to the fact that they live right next to the A-Mark Tucson military aircraft boneyard, so they get a lot of their aircrafts from the boneyard there because it's just right across the street. But I'd highly suggest that place to check it out. The Castle Air Museum in Merced, California is a wonderful museum, and they have really great displays. And it's at the old Castle Air Force Base. It's Castle Air Museum. Lewis Air Legends in Oregon. This is a rather newer private. It's kind of a private individual that started a museum, and it's really coming along. So the the Lewis Air Legends is what it's called. It's in Oregon, and I suggest check that place out too. It's really great. Another museum is a little on the off and beat path, and probably most people would say this shouldn't be on the top 10 list, but I've been to it many times, and I think it's a really neat personable museum, and that's the Glenn Curtis Museum in Hammondsport, New York. A really nice museum and well worth a visit, and a good place to give your support. And they have a really wonderful artifacts of Glenn Curtiss, and they have tons of his personal belongings, tools and machinery, boats, motorcycles, airplanes. It's just a really nice, beautiful museum, and their gift shop is really nice in there. They have a really top-notch gift shop. They really improved their gift shop the last couple of years, and I'd highly suggest the Glenn Curtiss Museum in Hammond's Port, New York, as a really hot top museum. It's not a real big museum, but it's a really nice museum. And that was my top 10. Like I said, there's a lot of other great museums out there. Probably could make a top 30 list, really, but everyone wants a top 10 list. But this was my top 10 list, and I wish I could have added more museums that was on the top 10 list, but I couldn't. So these are some really prominent museums on this list, most of them, and I think they're all worth checking out, as all aviation museums out there, regardless if they're on this list or not. But again, I'm going to leave a link to all these air museums in the description below, and so you guys can check it out and see if you guys are interested in visiting one of these institutions someday. But again, it's a great way to keep aviation history alive, is to support these aviation museums, because it's really all up to the visitors to come to keep these museums open. So always support, give a little donation, and that helps out keep aviation history alive. So with that, thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe to my channel, and also check up right here one of my latest videos, and my so you can check up on some interesting and fun airplane discussions. And with that, I'll see you guys later, and thank you, and I'll see you. Bye.